most of us, we think of holly as that green, shiny foliage and red berries used for decorating during the holiday season. But hollies function in many capacities in the landscape, such as hedges and screenings, single specimen and group plantings. They symbolize strength, protection, goodwill, and everlasting life. Here to tell us about hollies is the director of Planting Fields Arboretum State Historic Park in Oyster Bay, New York. Please welcome back to the show, Vincent Simeone.
Thank you.
So great to have you here.
Thank you.
I just love hollies. They're kind of indestructible.
They're versatile, they're adaptable,
Right.
they're very forgiving plants.
And at Planting Fields, you have 400 different kinds?
We have over 400 different types, and we've been collecting them and propagating them for since 1960. So.
Wow, and it's so beautiful in the landscape. We have some photos of some of the different ones. Now, how tall is that
That
holly?
is over 40 feet. That's an American holly, a mature American holly. And when they get to that size, they really are quite majestic.
Oh, they are. And what's this next one?
This is actually a very unusual variety of Japanese holly called sky pencil, and it's only about 1.5 feet wide and about 8 feet tall. So
That
it's
would
really
make a
quite
nice. That would make a nice hedge.
A nice hedge, or even if you have a narrow space. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very beautiful.
Yep. And that's a great head. That's a native holly called the inkberry holly.
And that is one plant?
That's one plant, and it makes a nice dense hedge. Yeah.
That's very beautiful.
Yeah. And then that one is one of my favorites. That's the deciduous holly. Hollies can be evergreen or deciduous, meaning they drop their leaves in the fall. And that's a winterberry holly, Ilex verticillata.
Beautiful.
Yeah, great plant.
Wow. Well, you have brought many different kinds.
Yes, I brought a little collection today.
What'd you do? You went out clipping this morning?
I did. Actually, me and my staff went out in the snow and clipped.
Yeah, well, it's gorgeous. And I put some hollies in last year and the year before. They're all doing well this year. They like this cold.
Yes, they certainly do.
Some of them do, not all.
They are northern plants, for sure.
So now, what is this one?
This is an American holly. It's actually a variety. You know, hollies are male or female plants. This happens to be a female plant with the berries. Okay. But it's actually got a man's name. It's Dan Fenton. It came from Rutgers University.
But Dan Fenton can be male or female.
Dan Fenton is always a female plant.
Oh, it always is.
But it's a male person.
Oh,
so, but very luxurious, lustrous leaves, and quite a nice variety that came from Rutgers University.
So it's always going to have berries?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it will.
But so how does this get?
We have male and female plants. You need the male pollinator to pollinate the female.
So some other holly pollinates
this? Another male holly would need to pollinate that, right?
Okay.
And then these are more traditional. This is the English holly, which is, of course, native to Europe, which is very prickly, as you can see, and it's called Ilex aquifolium.
This one's pretty prickly.
It's pretty prickly, too, but aquifolium actually means spiny.
Oh, okay.
And so you have a very glossy leaf, and then this is the variegated variety called Oreo marginata, which is very nice around the holidays as well.
Yeah, great for reeds.
Cuttings. Yes, absolutely. This is a sort of little prickly critter right here is the Chinese. They're all pretty prickly, yes. But you can see how unusual the leaf shape is, and nice dark green.
Yeah, this is very amazing. What shape does that grow?
This is more of a rounded shape, and this is sort of marginally hardy in the north. It's zone 7, but down south you see it a lot.
Oh, so I shouldn't plant that, really?
It's tough in zone 6. It's marginal. Here's a lot of people love the yellow-berried hollies. This is an American holly with yellow berries, and it's called canary. Yes, it is. Zone 5. Yes,
you know I love canaries.
Yeah, really, really very nice. Here is really one of my favorites. This is a fairly new one, or it's been on the market for about 20 years, but new to me, and it's called Mary Nell. And if you see how puckered the leaves are, they're sort of pleated.
Oh, I like that.
And it makes a nice statement in the landscape. Yeah, very dense berried. Yeah.
And that's the color of the berries, that kind of brownish color?
They pretty much stay a light orange. Yeah, very unusual. But the foliage texture is just absolutely outstanding.
Very beautiful. How big does that grow?
This will be in the 20-foot range, 15 to 20-foot range. Yeah.
And are those readily available?
Yes, they are now. They are now.
Beautiful.
Yeah, wonderful plants.
So these are deciduous.
These are deciduous hollies, so these would drop their leaves in the fall. But I really love these the best because they really make a statement in the winter, and they're also a very important food source for birds. Actually, birds love them.
They like this.
We were hard pressed to find holly berries still on the plants because of the birds. But this is Ilex decidua, which is called the possum haw, and this is Ilex verticillata winter gold, which is called the winter gold winterberry. And you can see it's sort of an orangey gold. It really is quite stunning in the landscape.
I went to Broken Arrow Nursery right before Christmas, and we did a story on their wreath making, and they have a lot of winter gold there. Yep. And it really is very attractive.
And this is a very cold hardy plant, zone 3 or 4, so it's very cold hardy.
Now, will this last when it's cut in a wreath, or?
Hollies in general have what we call a long post-harvest life. They last for a long time as cuttings.
So the leaves will not fall off?
They won't. They won't. And the berries will hold on for a while.
Now, this doesn't even look like a holly.
This looks like a tropical plant to me. This is Ilex pedunculosa, which is called the long stalk holly. You see how long the stalks of the fruit are?
Oh, yes.
And this is zone 5, very interesting plants from Asia, and really makes a nice statement in the the landscape. This is also a small tree.
So zone 5, it'll be hardy.
It will grow for you, yes,
Wow.
absolutely. Yep, really nice plant.
It looks almost like a laurel.
Almost like a ficus, actually. To me.
Yeah, ficus, and then a little that's right. And this is the Japanese.
This is Japanese holly, but this is an unusual variety. That's the sky pencil that we saw before, and you can see that this is a female. This has got very dark, almost a blackish blue fruit.
So now you say again female. There's no males of this.
There are only male. There are other male varieties, but this particular variety is a female.
Okay, so and it will always have berries.
Yes.
Black berries.
Yes.
Those are
as long as it has a male
berries.
pollinator, it will. Yes.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
Yeah.
So once you plant a holly, what kind of soil do you need?
Well, again, they're very adaptable to soil types, but they really prefer well-drained soil, acidic soil, and they will adapt to either sandy soil or good garden loam or clay soil, any of the above.
So they're adaptable.
Yes, and the only thing with hollies is you want to protect them from the winter winds.
Right.
They don't like heavy winter winds. So
I planted all mine kind of behind other things.
Yes, that's the way they like to grow.
And they're very nice as a barrier to block out unsightly things.
Hedges, screens, they're
Right.
also very good if you want to block an unsightly view, as you said. They take pruning extremely well, so you can prune them regularly.
Right.
So they really work in a lot of different ways.
Prune them for your Christmas wreaths
Absolutely.
and decorations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's when they should be pruned, right, during the winter?
Yes.
Well, this is very, very informative. Come back in the spring, because, if you haven't been to planting fields, what's coming up at planting fields?
Well, we have the winter landscape right now is absolutely gorgeous,
I
but
bet.
spring is on its way, and we have wonderful conservatories and gardens that will be
When's
up
the
and running.
camellia show?
The camellia house will be in bloom in February, so
Okay.
good time to come.
All right. And when we come back, Vinny is going to answer questions from the audience about winter gardening. So think about what your challenges are and ask Vinny. Stay with us. Well, welcome back. I'm here with Vinny Simeone, who's the director of Planting Fields Arboretum in Oyster Bay, New York. And if you have a question about winter gardening or shrubs or trees, Vinny could probably give you a really great answer, right, Vin?
Probably,
Yes.
probably.
Any questions?
Hi, I'm Marcia from Imesville, Maryland.
Hello.
Hi, and I have 2 American hollies flanking my front door. They have the same soil conditions and the same lighting. One is quite large. However, the other one hasn't grown at all in 3 years. And I'm wondering how best to handle this. If it's better to prune one back, or is there a way that I can stimulate the growth of the other one?
Okay, are they the same age?
Yes, they are
Okay.
the same age. They're about 4 years old.
There's a lot of genetic diversity amongst hollies, so it's not surprising that one grows faster than the other or establishes faster than the other. I would probably prune the one that's growing faster than anything else. You really can't stimulate holly growth too much with fertilizer, so you really should try to lightly prune the other one and bring it down a little bit, and that'll slow it down so the other one can catch up.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good question. Hi.
Hi, I'm Appy Mathur from Westport, Connecticut. And my question is, my garden looks so drab in the wintertime. So what are some of the plants and bushes I can plant that will survive the winter, number one, and give it some color and dimension?
Okay.
Westport's such a great zone.
Yes, it is.
Like,
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, certainly there's a lot of other shrubs or trees that you can put in, including holly, which can be very interesting. But one plant I would recommend is a plant called viburnum, which is a shrub, a flowering shrub, which has interesting berries in the winter. So the deciduous viburnums will have interesting berries, and the evergreen types will have interesting foliage. Either one of those 2 groups of plants will work for your garden. Another plant that I'd recommend in that zone is Calicarpa, which is also called beautyberry, and that has really interesting purple berries in the wintertime, also a good food source for birds, and that can really liven up the garden in the winter.
Like lavender.
Yeah, sort of a lavender purple.
Oh,
yeah, it's really
that's
nice.
beautiful.
But viburnums you can't go wrong with.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Here we have another question. Hi.
Hi, Vinny. My name is Mary Agramonte from Dix Hills, Long Island.
Oh, okay.
And I'd like to know, are there any winter flowers or plants that can be used for a winter flower box?
I've actually seen some creative ways that people use flowers in pots, especially in the winter. One of the things that people use, which is kind of unusual, but hellebores. You can use hellebores, which are perennials basically, but they flower in the late winter. And they have a really interesting either purple or red or white flower. And they work really well. They're very forgiving plants. They work really well in pots because anything in a pot really has to be durable, But the other thing is heaths and heathers, which are closely related to rhododendrons. And they're evergreens. They will actually flower. Heath will flower in the late winter, early spring. And those work really well in pots as well. So either one of those would be recommendations for durable plants that have winter color.
Oh, that's great.
That'd be
Thank
great.
you so much.
Well, those are excellent questions. I wish we had time for more, but thank you, Vinny, for being here today, and we'll be right back.